All right, guys. Good morning. We're going to talk about Mongolia today for briefly. First thing I want you to understand about Mongolia is that Mongolia is a democracy. So it's right above China. China's communist, Mongolia is democratic. They were communist for about 70 years and then had a had a civil war and became democratic. And that's where their government is now. And so they trade with us and they trade different things. But our bigger trading partner in the south is China. Now, they are a developing nation. They have a large nomadic population, as I get my notes. They have a large nomadic population. Most of those people are shepherds or they are horse riders. Now, if you're thinking about Mongolia and you've seen movies about Mongolia or you've heard about Mongolia, you have probably heard about the Mongolian warriors. Now, let's talk about them. Uh, First of all, what you need to understand is that there are no raiding Mongols. They don't today. They don't do that. Like I said, they're farmers. They're shepherds. There is a large group of them that are nomadic. They trade in horses. They live a largely subsistence lifestyle, meaning they grow their own food, and they generally want to be left alone. They live in houses called yurts. They're little round houses, or I should say, big round houses, usually 20 by 20, and they can pack those things and they can put them on the back of a horse and be off and down the road in probably 20 to 30 minutes. And so you'll see them roaming around the countryside. They tend to not respect fences, which brings them into conflict with smaller towns and people who actually fence ranch. If you do any of that or your parents do any of that, then you understand. But for the most part, they've been that way for thousands of years. Now the Mongols that I'm going to tell you about now are the ones from history. Okay, these were a large group of fighting men, not women, fighting men who pretty much conquered everything up to Europe. Okay, they were led by a man named Genghis Khan. He started the Mongol Empire from Beijing, China, all the way to the edge of Europe. The only reason that they were stopped in Europe was because Genghis Khan died of the Black Death. Otherwise, we'd all been speaking Mongolian, and our history would have been a lot different. So fortunately, he died. Now, it's said that a Mongol warrior can shoot 500 yards riding backwards on a horse. And I mean, and shoot an arrow 500 yards riding backwards on a horse. And that's quite a feat. So, when you're talking about Mongol warriors, they had a really fierce reputation for fighting. They tended to boil their enemies alive. They did things like tie people between two horses and then spook the horses. They beheaded people. When they came to your town, you generally wanted to leave because they would barricade the town and keep anybody from going away. They would starve people out. They practiced psychological warfare. They were pretty bad dudes. And so, when you fought one Mongol, you fought them all. And so you really didn't want to fight. You wanted to try to deal with them. And usually what would happen, and it went a little bit like this. The Mongols come to your town, and the Mongols want money. And they'll tell you, okay, we're not going to burn your town to the ground. We're not going to rape your women. We're not going to do anything like that. But you're going to pay us. And we're going to come and we're going to get our money once a year. And you can run your country the way you want to run it. You can run your city the way you run it. But if you don't pay us, then we'll come in and we'll take everybody. We'll make them slaves. We'll kill them. And we'll burn your town to the ground. And then we'll live here and you won't. And so faced with that and having to fight endless hordes of Mongols, people pretty much gave in. Uh, like I said, they conquered almost 5 million square miles of territory, almost the entire known world. And then Genghis Khan died. Now, when Genghis Khan dies, his sons inherit the empire, and his sons tear it apart. So it doesn't last for much more than maybe 50, 60 years after he died. But what you have is you have the legacy of the Mongols. You know, you have what you see in the videos. You know, the Mongols ranching, and they're pretty much peaceful now. But, you know, that's Mongolia. You know, a couple other things that I want to talk to you guys about. Make sure that you are turning in your work. I have a lot of people who just aren't participating. If you are turning in work, then keep turning in your work. Please keep doing that, because that's going to help you in the end. The other thing is that we will not be accepting any assignments that are new. Like, I won't be giving anything out after the 18th. So the 18th to the 22nd will be anything that you have not completed. Okay, so keep that in mind. You know, and that's coming up real soon. Okay, so all right, guys. Well, I miss you guys. We will most likely see you next year. Okay, take care. All right, bye, guys.